Welcome to this week's pieces. So I have a set of nightstands here. They're actually in really good shape. They're just not a high quality nightstand. They are made of plywood and probably really inexpensive wood overall. The tops could have been sanded back. I could see that they were laminated in some ways, so I thought it would be best just to paint them. Typically, when I'm doing nightstands, I like to keep the tops wood, but in this case, I thought it would be better just to go with paint. So that's the route I went. I used my cleaning solution with a sanding sponge to kind of do a 2-in-1 cleaning scuff sand situation, and then I went through and wiped everything back with a rag and got all the cleaning stuff off. This cleaning solution I'm using here is a mix of vinegar and Dawn dish soap with some water, and it does a really good job of cleaning these kind of pieces that have been sitting out for a while. So for the drawers, I just wanted to add a little bit of fance. So I pulled out my molds here, and I'm completely out of my quick resin, so I'm just using a glue gun. This happens to be my least favorite way to do appliques, but you guys know I'm all about the do what you can with what you have. So this is what I had on hand. It is super easy to do this way. It's a little annoying to me that you can't just pour it in. It's harder to get the glue to go in perfectly without bubbling. And also the shop is very cold right now, so it's hard to get it to flow very smoothly. So if you have a warm environment and you can just push the glue out quickly, it works a lot better. But in this case, it was just, like I said, it's not as good as resin. And these molds here, I do have some clay, but these ones in particular are so detailed. The clay is really, really hard to get out of them because they're a very thin design. So the hot glue, it did work. I like them. It's fine. It's just not one of my most favorite methods. What I will say about the hot glue, though, is that it's very quick in that you can release them very soon after you get everything put in, and they're super flexible. So if you have like a curved surface, this is a good medium to use for that. I'm just kind of figuring out my placement, and then I'm applying them with just some regular wood glue. And then I'm taping them down to make sure I have a pretty decent surface, and then I will also either put something heavy on top or use clamps or something to really secure them down. I do like making sure I have a little brush out to be able to go into all the small areas and clean up any glue so that I don't have dried on globs later. Once that glue dries up, I'm able to just go ahead and paint the entire thing. Now I wanted to go for a light blue, but not too light, not too dark, and kind of, so I just had to mix up my own color because I just had something in my mind and I didn't have the exact right color. So I ended up going in with Blue Lagoon and Aquamarine, and I felt like it just hit the spot. When I'm mixing colors, I just do what I like and hope that I mix up enough paint to cover the entire piece. And I know that that's not the best way to go about it, but that's how I do it. So the first coat goes on a little bit rough, especially since I'm trying to get into all the little nooks and crannies of the appliques, but then the second coat will go and smooth everything out. The old hardware had to go, so I found these two little knobs in my stash and I just painted them the matching blue and then hit them up with a little bit of gold gilding wax to make them pop. And of course carried that same gold throughout all the appliques as well as the back of the wallpaper. When I started with the Anaglypta wallpaper, I used my larger wax brush so I could get a softer effect, and then so I'll put it on, get a lot of it off, and then do swirling motions all around. And it starts out streaky just because it's getting the bigger pieces off, but then it'll start smoothing out as you go around. If you want this to be an even softer look, you can actually wax the wallpaper with clear wax first and then do the gilding wax in gold, and that will help it smooth out a little more easily. What I'm going to do next is add my glazing solution, and so that is going to tone it and do everything as well. So this is just another way to go about that. So here is just some glazing dusts mixed with poly, and I'm dipping a large brush in there, and then I'm swirling it over the top of the gold. So it makes the entire wallpaper, it's sealing it for one because it has the poly in it, but it's also giving a subtle sheen as well as helping the gold blend into the piece. I then added the same solution onto the knobs as well. Then to seal the whole piece, I just covered it in some satin poly. Since these are nightstands, they'll get a ton of use on top, so I want to make sure that I do multiple coats on the tops. The body typically gets about 2, the top about 3. And then you guys know that for extra protection, I like to add a bit of wax to the tops as well, of pieces that are going to get a ton of use. So I find that wax is just a better water moisture repellent. So I like to do that over the top of the poly once it is fully dried. So this goes on, and then I buff it in, and once that is set up for a bit, then I will wipe it back and buff it off with a cloth.
Oh hi, Taryn here with Elegant Upgrades, and we've got our finished nightstands. So these are just gorgeous. I love them. I actually hated them before. I didn't like this large opening with the tiny drawer. It just isn't my jam. But you guys know I always grab the matching sets of nightstands or end tables because they sell really well. So my stepdad brought these home and I was like, okay, I have to figure out what I'm going to do with them. And it did take me a while, and I'm like, you know what, let's just glam them up a bit because they're very boring, and I think just a couple things will kind of take them up. So all we did was add appliques and then do the wallpaper in the back because I've been dying to do, I've been feeling this light blue color with the gold. I haven't done it in a while, and I've just been kind of craving it. So I'm like, oh, I'll do it to those nightstands, and then kind of fancied up because I had this extra wallpaper from the staging wall, which of course is not done yet. It's gonna be a hot minute because we have to figure out a heating situation for out in the shop. So far we have 2 propane heaters, and it's just been getting decent. You guys know that it snowed, so it's very chilly. We're gonna get a wood stove in soon. It's set up for a wood stove, but we have to get one here and put in and installed. So the paint is being a little bit more finicky than normal. It takes me a little bit more time to get things. Like I put these appliques on with the glue, and from afternoon, overnight to the next afternoon, it still was not dry. And I was like, oh, we've got to do something about this. So we're working on that. It does take things a little bit longer to get set up. So I don't want to put paint on the wall and have it not work out. So we're trying to get that sorted. I digress. There's just a lot. But anyways, I hope you guys love these. I just love how simple they are, but then they have like these little pops of fancy, and I enjoy that. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you to all my cohorts. You guys are seriously awesome for sticking around and joining the membership that way. It's just kind of at random, And I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate you for showing up whenever I release the videos about everything that's been going on. And I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate you following along, because really I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just a wing and a prayer and all that. So, and thank you to all of you subscribers and all of you not subscribers that keep showing up and leaving comments and everything. You guys are just all amazing, and you guys keep my channel going and growing and doing all the right things. So I just truly appreciate you, and I appreciate all the kindness that is just everywhere just from you guys. So thanks. I will see you next week.